RBI has recently updated the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme, and now it is 2026 Integrated Ombudsman Scheme, which was recently released by Reserve Bank of India, right? So in this particular video, we are going to talk about this particular scheme and what are the new updates, right, in a detailed manner. So let's get the discussion started. Let's start with the background and objective of this RBI IOS. So the scheme is all about a single integrated grievance redressal mechanism. So this is providing a complaint redressal mechanism for the consumers, for the customers of the regulated RBI regulated entities. So there are so many regulated entities like banks, like non-banks, and some other entities as well. These are called as regulated entities. Why they are called as regulated entities? Because RBI is there to regulate these entities, right? In case any customer of these regulated entities is having any kind of complaint, first that customer will go to the regulated entity, and if not resolved, the customer will go to the RBI IOS, right? So earlier this scheme used to be 2021 and now it is RBI IOS 2026, right? So it replaces the earlier scheme into one unified framework. And why do we even call this scheme as a integrated? Why do we even call this scheme as integrated? Because earlier there used to be three frameworks, okay? Banking Ombudsman Scheme for NBFCs, and scheme for digital transactions. So these three schemes were merged into one single framework, which is now called as RBI IOS 2026. Earlier we used to have 2021, now we do have 2026. So it was recently released on the RBI website. The whole objective is cost effective, in a speedy manner, complaint resolution of the customers who are not satisfied with the reply, or maybe they didn't get even a reply from the regulated entities, right? And the legal backing definitely of this particular scheme is RBI Act, Banking Regulation Act, Payment and Settlement System Act, and Credit Information Companies Act as well, right? So we integrated these three schemes, and that's why we call it as Integrated Ombudsman Scheme. So this particular scheme is going to be effective from 1st July 2026. Please do remember the date of the scheme being effective, 1st of July 2026, right? And this is going to be applicable on all the regulated entities. So here you can see all the banks are covered, whether it is commercial bank, regional rural bank, state and central cooperative banks, even the urban cooperative banks, whether scheduled or non-scheduled, they are also covered if they do have a deposit size of greater than or equal to 50 crore rupees, right? So even they are covered. Even the NBFCs are also included, right? If deposit taking NBFC is there, or NBFC with the customer interface and asset size greater than or equal to 100 crore is there, then it is also included in this particular framework. But some of the NBFCs are excluded, like housing finance company is not covered by this framework. CICs, credit information companies are actually included in this, but NBFCs who are core investment companies are not included in this. So don't get confused like with the CIC with the credit information company, right? Credit information company pe this will be applicable, this scheme will be applicable, but not on core investment companies, right? And some of the other NBFCs as well, this particular scheme won't be applicable. Non-bank PPI issuers, prepaid payment instrument issuers, and credit information companies are also covered in this particular scheme. So in the exclusion, I can say some of the NBFCs are there, rest all the regulated entities are very well covered by this scheme, right? So you can check the applicability from the notification itself, and the date is 1st of July 2026, right? So core investment companies are excluded from this, but the credit information companies are included in this, right? Then we have some definitions. The definitions are quite straight. What you guys have to remember here is there is an appellate authority as well. That means if you are not satisfied with the decision of the ombudsman, then you can appeal further. There is an appellate authority as well, which is the executive director in charge of Consumer Education and Protection Fund Department, Reserve Bank of India. So in Reserve Bank of India, we do have a department which is Consumer Education and Protection Fund Department. The executive director will be acting as the appellate authority for the purpose of this particular scheme, right? Now the appointment, RBI appoints its officer, as the first one will be RBI Ombudsman and the second one will be RBI Deputy Ombudsman. So definitely Deputy Ombudsman also do have some of the powers, and RBI's Ombudsman is the superior authority as compared to the Deputy Ombudsman. The tenure generally 3 years at a time. So the tenure of Ombudsman and Deputy Ombudsman will be 3 years at a time, right? That's how the appointment is being done, and this is the tenure of a Ombudsman and Deputy Ombudsman. If we talk about the location, then offices decided by the RBI. The RBI will be deciding the offices where the Ombudsman will be there, right? And may hold sitting anywhere else as well, like physical or online presence can also be there. So location is no bar at all now. And there is a concept of CPRC, which is called as Centralized Receipt and Processing Center. Now this center receives and processes all the kinds of complaints. So let's suppose if a customer is having any kind of complaint with the regulated entity, so the customer can definitely approach the CRPC. The customer can file an online complaint as well. Online complaint are entertained via CMS portal. Okay, so there is a CMS portal. The online complaints are filed on the CMS portal, right? And you can also make the offline complaints as well. So if I talk about the Consumer Education and Protection Department as of now, so how many Ombudsman offices are there as of now in India? So every year RBI releases a Ombudsman report, right? This report is being released frequently, and latest report was related to, I think, December 2025 month. So RBI recently only released the annual report related to the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme from 1st April 2024 to 31st March 2025, right? So as per the latest released annual report of the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme, we can see that as of now there are 24 Ombudsman offices, right? And this is the applicability criteria. Plus you need to know that in the month of October 2025, there was an update in the applicability criteria of the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme. Earlier we used to have the scheme of 2021, now we have the scheme of 2026, right? So definitely this is the old criteria, but you can see that the cooperative, central cooperative banks, state cooperative banks were also included in the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme, right? So this was the recent update on October 2025, but now the Ombudsman scheme that we are studying is related to 2026. So this is the most recent updated scheme which was recently posted on the Reserve Bank of India website. So if we talk about the power and function, we have already discussed about the appointment criteria. RBI will be appointing its officer, Ombudsman and Deputy Ombudsman, and the tenure will be 3 years, right? The tenure will be 3 years. The customers can definitely file their complaint at CRPC. They can even file it at on the CMS portal, which is related to the online complaints, right? Now let's discuss about some of the power and functions of the RBI Ombudsman. What kind of powers they do have, what are the functions that they do have to, or what are the day-to-day functions that they have to deliver. So let's discuss about that as well now. Now the Ombudsman can definitely examine any kind of complaint relating to the deficiencies in any kind of service. So what happens is, let's suppose I am a customer of a bank, say for example ICICI Bank, right? I raise the issue to the regulated entity, which is ICICI Bank in this particular case. Now in the next 30 days, maybe I got no reply, or the reply that I am getting is not at all satisfactory. So what I can do is, after the expiry of this time limit, I can go to the RBI Ombudsman, right? In the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme 2026 now. So definitely the Ombudsman can examine any kind of complaint, that is the power, that is the function, relating to any deficiency in the service. Now he or she has to again be completely guided by any kind of rules and regulations, RBI directions, circular regulation, just like this scheme as well, and no limit on the dispute amount. Okay, so no limit on the dispute amount. It may be 1 lakh, 10 lakh, 1 crore, doesn't matter. RBI Ombudsman will definitely deal with any kind of complaint. The power to give compensation up to 30 lakh for consequential financial loss. If you are facing any kind of financial loss, then definitely the RBI Ombudsman can offer you up to 30 lakhs for any kind of financial loss that you actually faced, right? In addition to that, you can get up to 3 lakhs as well as a compensation for any kind of harassment that you faced or any kind of time or expense related things that you actually invested in raising this particular complaint and in raising any kind of issues with the regulated entity. So up to 3 lakh rupees is for the mental harassment or any kind of time or expense that you actually invested for resolving this matter, right? Definitely the RBI Ombudsman can close the complaints, can pass awards to the persons who are complaining for any kind of irregularity, add any other regulated entities as a party if required, right? Now maybe here the wrong loan recovery causing a financial loss of 50 lakh rupees to the person who has actually complained. The Ombudsman can definitely hear the case because there is no such limit on the dispute amount, but the compensation here is capped at 30 lakhs only, right? The compensation here is capped at 30 lakhs only, and I have covered the entire Integrated Ombudsman Scheme 2021 and the key highlights of the annual reports as well recently only, and now whatever things were there in 2021, they are again consolidated in 2026 report with certain amendments as well, right? So RBI also releases an annual report, and this annual report is being released every year by Consumer Education and Protection Department of Reserve Bank of India related to what are the key updates in the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme every year. So here what you need to know is that there is no limit on the amount in a dispute that can be brought before the RBI Ombudsman, for which RBI Ombudsman or the RBI Deputy Ombudsman can facilitate a settlement or pass a award. So I can say that there is no bare minimum limit or there is no capping on the amount which is involved in the dispute. You can go to the RBI Ombudsman, and in certain cases you can even go to the RBI Deputy Ombudsman, and they will be definitely facilitating the settlement or award, right? However, for any kind of consequential losses suffered by the complaint, the RBI Ombudsman shall have the power to provide a compensation up to 30 lakh rupees. Point to be noted that there is no such limit for raising the dispute, whether at RBI Ombudsman or with RBI Deputy Ombudsman, but any kind of loss that you have actually suffered, the RBI Ombudsman only do have the power to give you the compensation up to 30 lakh rupees. This is a point that you should know. In addition to that, we have already discussed that 3 lakh rupees can be again offered in case of any kind of harassment, right, suffered by the person who has raised such kind of complaint. So RBI shall in the public interest publish an annual report as well. So we have already discussed that RBI will be publishing an annual report as well every year, and the Consumer Education and Protection Department of Reserve Bank of India is actually releasing this annual report, right? What are the grounds for filing the complaints can be any act or omission by the regulated entity, or I can say any problem which the customer is facing because of the act or omission of the regulated entity can definitely be a ground for filing a complaint to the RBI Ombudsman. The complaint can be filed personally or through representative, authorized representative. So let's suppose I have some problem with ICICI Bank, so I myself can file a complaint personally to the Integrated Ombudsman, right? My authorized representative can also file a complaint. In my absence, I can authorize someone who can file a complaint on my behalf, right? That is also possible. That is again possible. But my advocate should not be filing the complaint on my behalf. My advocate can't be my authorized representative, okay? So no need to involve any kind of advocates in it. You can directly file it, or your authorized representative can file it. So a complaint is maintainable only if all the conditions are satisfied. What are the conditions that you need to satisfy in order to keep your complaint as a maintainable complaint? What do you mean by maintainable complaint? That means RBI Integrated Ombudsman will be entertaining your complaint or not. If the Ombudsman is entertaining your complaint, then your complaint will be maintainable complaint. That is, it is fine, right? We are processing your complaint further. But if it is a non-maintainable complaint, that means we will reject it. We will reject it. What are the conditions that should be satisfied? Complaint is directly addressed to the RBI Ombudsman. So I should directly address that complaint to the RBI Ombudsman. It's not like that I should approach RBI Ombudsman indirectly. That's not possible. And my complaint will not be maintainable in that case. I need to keep my approach direct. right? Filed personally or via authorized representative, but not advocates. My advocate will not file complaint on my behalf, right? Complete information will be provided here in the complaint, and first complaint to the regulated entity. If I have some problem with ICICI Bank, first I have to connect with the bank. If the bank is not able to resolve my complaint in the next 30 days, maybe the reply is not satisfactory or maybe I am not getting a reply at all, then I will go to the Integrated Ombudsman. Directly, I won't approach the Integrated Ombudsman. The first complaint should always be filed with the regulated entity and not the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme, right? So either I'm not getting any kind of reply in the 30 days, or maybe I'm getting the reply in 10, 15 or whatever days is, but that reply is not satisfactory. Then I can complain within the next 90 days. That's the time limit. So say for example, 30-day period is over. Now after the expiry of 30 days, I do have 90 days to raise my issue with the Integrated Ombudsman, right? In the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme. Let's suppose the regulated entity has actually given me reply in XYZ days. So from that date, within 90 days, you have to raise your issue with in the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme, right? Whichever is later. So I can say that definitely I'll be getting adequate time here of 90 days to raise my complaint, right? But this should not be a pending complaint with any kind of court, tribunal or any kind of arbitrator, right? So arbitrator. So what is an arbitrator, guys? Any idea? So arbitrator is nothing but a person who will be settling the argument between two or more groups or person, right? He is actually settling the transaction or the dispute, just like court and tribunal are also doing the same only, right? So these are the grounds of complaints, guys, that you have to remember. The limit in the number of days is very, very essential for your examination. You can get a direct question from the limits as well. So each and everything I have also highlighted in the scheme as well, which was posted on the website, right? Now, what are the modes of filing a complaint? So I already told you, you can use CMS portal for any kind of online complaint. You can also email it to the CRPC. You can even give a physical submission to the CRPC, right? That is also possible. ये आपका चंडीगढ़ के अंदर ऑफिस है, and the complaints must be in the prescribed form, plus supporting documents are also required here. Now the CRPC definitely will be doing a preliminary scrutiny. This is a system based validation for the online complaints. So there are certain checks that CRPC will be doing in order to determine whether the complaint is actually maintainable or not. If not, then the complaint will be rejected, right? Resolution process. Proceedings are in summary in nature and not bound by any kind of strict rules for evidence, and RE must submit their reply within the next 15 days. So definitely the Integrated Ombudsman will be requiring a reply from the regulated entities, and RBI and the RE regulated entity must submit the reply within 15 days before the office of the Integrated Ombudsman, right? And your complaint will be closed when it is fully settled, or maybe the person who has done the complaint is actually satisfied or is accepting the resolution, or maybe the complaint is withdrawn, right, due to a number of reasons. Maybe the issue falls outside the scheme and so on. So there can be so many reasons for the closure of complaints. Award by RBI Ombudsman. So Ombudsman definitely can issue award also if the regulated entity fails to cooperate, right, or no settlement is achieved. So actually if it is the issue on the part of regulated entity, then I can say that the Ombudsman will be issuing reward to the person who has actually done the complaint, right? And whatever award you got was announced by the RBI Ombudsman, you need to accept it within a period of 90 days. If you don't accept it, it will be deemed to be accepted here only. You can even appeal further. Maybe you are not satisfied with the reply of integrated in the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme, right, with the RBI with the RBI Ombudsman. Then what you can do is you can just appeal. There is an appeal mechanism also. You can appeal to the Executive Director of Consumer Education and Protection Department, and the time limit will be 30 days, right? The time limit will be 30 days. In certain cases, it is also extendable by another 30 days. And the appellate authority definitely do have the power to modify the order or to dismiss the case or set aside the order, right? So these are some of the powers that appellate authority can definitely have. Now there are certain obligations on the part of the regulated entities also. They also have to appoint a principal nodal officer who is at a GM level or above that, right? And this nodal officer definitely has responsibilities of every bank has to display the scheme details related to the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme at a prominent place. The nodal officer contact number, the CMS portal link, and everything will be displayed in English language, Hindi language, as well as the regional language. So these are the requirements, and these are some of the quick takeaways that I have prepared for you guys, right? This is the new RBI Integrated Ombudsman Direction 2026. And now we have some questions for all of you guys. This is the homework question number 1, right? This is the homework question number 1. You have to tell me the timeline. So this is a timeline related question that you have to answer in the comment section. And this is the question number 2. So please do answer these 2 questions in the comment section, right? Would love to see you participating in the comment section, and definitely I'll be posting the right answer in the comment section itself. Okay guys, and this is a quick chart related to the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme that you can later on refer to. If I have missed anything, right, it's been prepared by using AI tools. So in case if I missed something in it, then definitely you can add it on the next page, right, as per your convenience, or you can draw some charts like this in your register also, right? That is always appreciable. So thank you so much guys. Bye bye. Take care. See you soon in some other video. I hope you enjoyed this video. वीडियो पसंद आया तो वीडियो को लाइक कर देना, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर देना. थैंक यू सो मच. टेक केयर.